So now let's open this primer and let's see. I'm really curious about what are your favorite features of it. So we categorized basically design in three categories. So the mindsets, the approaches, and the metas and tools. So let's start with the mindset. So I'm just curious, Kassie, like if you would have to pick only one mindset, if you would go to space, let's say. It's too heavy. You cannot bring a lot, right? In your luggage, which of the mindset would you take and why?
Cheat.
I would say my favorite mindset is being curious because that's how I approach the world. And it's always not taking things for granted about the way things are and asking why, which relates to another, maybe no spoilers, relates to a tool later on. But yeah, being curious.
Excellent. And what about you, Michele?
So for me, I just kind of looking at the cheat sheet, I'd say suspend judgment. And my students here would know, students in human factors would know that a lot of what we talk about is bias and how you perceive the world and trying to look at trying to put your own biases on the table, but then holding off before judging what a situation might be, or what other people's biases mean, or so on. So it's leaving that, not jumping to a normative position yet, like a good, bad, or negative, positive, or even just assuming what others might think, and so on. So I think for me, it's suspending judgment, just being observant. It opens up it opens yourself to observation and really exploration of the space. So.
And General Bernard, do you think it's possible for senior military officers to suspend judgment?
Right now, the change agenda in the CAF, like our culture evolution, our diversity and inclusion plan, is actually opening all of those new thoughts, new ways of looking at the people domain more specifically. So, but it is difficult because part of our culture is being, we're biased to action. Like my wife will come back from work and tell me a story and I'll have a solution for her. Like from the get-go. I'll have a solution. Okay, honey, this is what you should do. I'm not asking you to tell me what to do next.
You don't give her three options?
No, I just go with the solution. No, but that's the hardest one and being a general officer in the room, like try to speak last, right? If you speak first, you just situated the estimate, guess what? We're all going with option A. So, but it's hard because we're all conditioned to make decisions and make decisions sometimes under fire. And, you can't really suspend judgment when you have to make a decision under fire. You have to go with, that's where your intuition will kick in, your experience will kick in, and you'll just make that decision and hope for the best. But I like all of them, and I think that right now we're at a paradigm shift in the CAF. So this primer is very, very timely because we're looking at our culture, we're looking at diversity and inclusion, we're making sure we appreciate our conscious and unconscious biases, and we're having discussions. Like there's a lot of professional development happening right now in the Canadian Forces about that. And part of engaging your creativity, I would just encourage everybody to do something different. Like go and visit a museum, an art gallery, try new cuisine, go and watch a movie in a foreign language. Listen to music that is, from an unfamiliar genre. Go to an opera, you like it or not. But so all of those things just open up, and that's being curious. So we're back to being curious and spending judgment, but also that will allow you to build your creativity. I honestly believe.
Totally agree. So, of course, tools are not everything, and there's often a tendency for our students to just want to focus on the tools, but still, I think they are a strong added value to generate conversations when we do design and foresight and conversation we would not have otherwise. So, Kassie, I was wondering, like again, you're going to space. If you would have to pick one tool in this primer, which one would that be and why?
The 5 whys, and it's related to my mindset, I think, the being curious. And I love the example in the primer, the Toyota example of drilling down to get to the root cause of things, because that's that's just how my brain works. My brain works systemically, and I don't want to understand how to give Band-Aid solutions and treat symptoms. I want to understand the root cause and where the actual leverage points are in a system and how to make actual change. And I think that's a really good tool to get to the root cause of something.
Excellent. And what about you, Michele?
The analogy one feels very at home for me because, especially as a graduate student, from my experience there, not being the smartest person in the room, I always had to build on analogies to help me understand something. So when everybody was talking all the complicated theoretical language, I'm like, so it's kind of like this. And it looks like this. People are like, yes. Yeah. So I need that concretization of thought through an analogy to help me kind of move on to the next step. So,
and what about you, General?
Well, from the get-go, I always start with why, and of course, Simon's in it. I'm a big fan of. So yes. Start with why. That's like paramount. And why should we intervene, or why should we not? Right? And Haiti comes to mind because it is in the news, right? But I already mentioned I'm very visual. I like graphics, drawing. And you don't have to be, an OCAD University architect graduate so that I'll like your drawing. It could be little, it's bonhomme allumette. I don't really care, but I think that drawing has a powerful impact, and especially explaining the process you took in your drawing. So I have another project. I have a lot of ideas and projects, but I have one on art and leadership. And I want to develop a plan, and it's something that perhaps we'll talk with the Archipelago of Design, but taking CAF members, bringing them to a museum and having an afternoon watching art and then having a debate on it. And you can have art that will draw discussions on diversity and inclusion. You can have art that will draw on decision making, whether in battle or not. There's all sorts of things that art will bring as far as so I would say draw is one that I start with why and draw visuals, and they're very powerful, especially when you have only like 5 minutes or 10 minutes to brief Commander Seajock on a situation. If your drawing is well done, he'll be able to frame the problem. He'll be able to see, potential options just from that drawing. I think, I'm a very visual person, so I would say that drawing is powerful to me.